What's going on? It's the RapNerd, and I'm here today to talk about A$AP Rocky's latest album called Don't Be Dumb that dropped on Friday. And I've been listening to it since it dropped, and I gotta say that I really enjoy this project. This is up there to me with some of his best work. So of course that includes Long Live A$AP, which is the first album, and Allah and Long Live A$AP. Both of those two are his top two projects, and this one to me is right there in third. And honestly, it was worth the wait because I think the whole album delivered. There's not a song on here that I don't like, and I love the experimentation of what he did on this album. I feel like he made testing so he could do this and really learn how to experiment with sounds while still honing himself in the records. And that's one thing I've always liked about A$AP is like he fits the mold of alternative hip hop and punk hop, and I think he does it at some of the best levels because of how much he actually commits to trying to be more inventive with his sounds and not stick to just one type of thing. And of course, I also think A$AP Rocky is an underrated rapper. I think the guy can really rhyme when he wants to. There are mad instances within his career where he proved that he can really rap, and I feel like Allah, that album, is the one to show like he's nice with the pen. And you see spurts of that here, but I could definitely say that this album is way more experimental on the creative side with sounds. Even breaking the album up from like side A to side B. I don't know if that's what he intended to do, but it sure sounds like it to me because the first half of the album is his traditional, Southern inspired hip hop beats and trap sounding shit. But then once you get to a midpoint, everything from that point on is pretty experimental. From a subject matter standpoint, it's pretty one note as with all A$AP Rocky records, but I mean, since the jump, it's always been just swag, luxury, fashion, mixed in with a little bit street shit here, and not too much depth on that side, but again, the depth lies in the creativity put on display. So it starts up with Order of Protection with a beat that is driven by horns, and I really like how that one feels. It almost reminds me of something from like the 2000s, and he's kind of explaining his case of like what he's been doing to be gone so long, because it has been like 8 years since his last project, and he says it all in the hook. It's been a long while, I'm running the streets, something, trials and tribulations, I'm running with cleats, I'm back in the game. Like he's explaining that he knows he's been gone and he understands the assignment, as they used to say back in the day, and he's gonna deliver. And I love when the beat does drop, it has that nice bounce to it. I can see this setting off a crowd when he performs it. Then it goes into one of my favorite songs on the album, and it was the lead single. I didn't listen to it a lot because I knew it was a single, and usually when rappers release singles, I try to like give it minimum listens, that way it doesn't throw the whole sequencing out of line, like where I was tired of the song already. But Helicopters, this shit is so hard. I love this beat, still capturing that 2000s essence, and I love that he borrowed that PD Pablo hook, and switched it around, took my shirt off, swinging like a helicopter, fuck with Rocky, PD Pop, and that beat is just ridiculous. I had this thing up to the loudest volume when I first played this joint, so I love Helicopter. And then it goes to this next record, which is clearly a shot at Drake. There's an interrogation skit that's dope as hell, where it's like, I'm gonna give you this staticky shit. I don't need to even be clear. My shit is that ill. And then it goes right into Stole Your Flow, where he is just constantly throwing shots at Drake. I mean, first you stole my flow, then I stole your bitch, like, yeah. And even lines that he throws in there, like, might pull up to your crib, spin it like the rent, spin it like the time that you ain't spending with your kids. Direct shot at Drake. All red, Mary Jane, just domestic Rari paint, been shitting on everything, and even potty train. Niggas getting BBLs, lucky we don't body shame. Throwing dirt on Rocky name, turn around and copy game. Literally shots at Drake, because he said before that Drake kind of used a bit of his style, which I see it, but it's not as crazy, because I feel like Rocky is kind of alluding to when Drake was on this whole Houston thing. And I think that if I heard right in interviews, he said Drake started doing that after he hang around A$AP. And I remember the video with Drake saying like, hopefully he can get his own A$AP nickname, become part of the crew. And this was like early on. So Rocky definitely uses this as an opportunity to go straight at Drake's head. And like I said, the bars there are pretty nice. They're on the basic level, but still the syllables in which he uses, like a lot of times Rocky does use multiing throughout his raps when he starts to actually go, Rari paint, body shame, copy game. It's small, but still the multis are there, and I love rhyme schemes like that. Then you have Stay Here, which is a record for the ladies. They straight up talking about Rihanna. I mean, there's no other way about it. But the next song I like is called Player, and I love this trend of older MCs or MCs as they've aged. They came in this game in their 20s and it was all player shit. I'm trying to get all the broads and I'm a Mac and all of this, and as they've all grown, you can hear them recontextualize the term of what a play is, and I really enjoy when I hear older MCs doing that, and that's what he's doing, because the skit before that, he's telling them, it's a guy going, I'm telling all you little niggas that I left the game, and pimping and all that shit is not for me, and you need to respect my relationship, which is exactly what he's saying is player. Like, there's a real dope line in here in the second verse. Let me find it. He goes, taking care of your kids, boy, that's player shit. One bitch, boy, that's player shit. No baby mama drama, no new friends, boy, that's player shit. And again, recontextualizing what the terms of player is, to me, is dope. It's always going to be dope when I see that, because eventually you got to be a grown-ass man and you can't be on the same type of shit unless you just a boy, mentally. And then No Trespassing is the next record that kind of takes a step in a different direction as far as beats go. Like, this joint sounds like something of the Kanye era in the 2010s. That whole span, it sounds like something that would come from Kanye's production, and I really love the bounce on that record and how it doesn't match the sound that we've heard on the whole album. And then next is Stop Snitching, where we have this dark, bass-heavy beat featuring, I think that's Saucy Walker. I don't listen to the guy like that, so you gotta excuse me if I pronounce his name wrong, but he delivers a pretty cool verse, but overall just a real hard-hitting beat. And then from this point is when the sound kind of completely changes with Shut the F Up. And like, I love this record. I watched the interview with Rocky, and he was saying something like that. He is obsessed with German expression, and this is exactly what that sounds like. This sounds like mosh pit music that would be played in Germany. Like, I could see an action movie that takes place in East Europe with this type of song playing, and it would just liven up the sequence. And like I said, I just love how it sounds and how experimentative it is, and it bangs anyway, you know what I mean? Like, I can headbang to this just because of the way the instrumentation is. It's kind of weird. It has this kind of like technology static in a sense with the synthesizer. It's just great. I love it. And then of course you get to one of the singles he had called Punk Rocky, which is a indie rock song that brings me back to the late 2000s, man, early 2010s. I used to love listening to bands like Phoenix, MGMT, even more so. I got thrown in the internet too, the internet's music. This sounds like it came straight from their catalog as well. And it's just a vibey record that I enjoy, and I think Rocky went about it in a very tasteful and good way. And again, back to that German expression with Air Force, with this weird technical beat that the bass is pumped up to annoying levels, but it's still sonically within the technical lines of where it should be, but boy does it bang. And when you hear it for the first time, it does throw you off, because I kind of was like, what the hell is going on, because there's so many sounds at one time. But having listened to it numerous times, I really enjoy what he was doing. And again, this is riot mosh pit music all the way. And then we get to my favorite record, Robbery, featuring Dose, which I think this record is magnificent from a rap standpoint, just having that jazz instrumental. I forgot what song that is that's playing in the background. It's a specific song, but to hear them trade bars going back and forth, and this whole thing is like a metaphor of a first date between a man and a woman, and a metaphor of it is a robbery, how things start off slow and eventually just escalate to the point of a stick up, you will, and clothes are coming off, and it's talking about robbing people. But actually, this is the point when they're, the couple is back home hot and heavy, and I love how it's described and how they trade bars. It's just an excellent form of creativity that, man, chef's kiss. And then Don't Be Dumb is this real floaty, vibey record that reminds me of something straight from Long Live ASAP. Like, you just feel like you've drunk some type of medicated beverage or hit a zig, and you're just floating listening to him kind of melodically just take you to a different place in your imagination. I love that joint. And then we get to the last record called The End, which is just Rocky talking about, all of the things that he sees wrong with the world. And Rocky really does this on every album. He'll have at least one song where he details about perspective he has on where we are in modern day times. And he, you know, touches on religion, touches on like food being bad in school. And it's just really good to hear these kind of records from him to let him know that he is conscious of the world we live in, even though it comes off like he doesn't. But him being a human, especially having kids, I know that these types of things play on his mind even more, but he does this every album, so I don't think this is anything new. And I just love how post-apocalyptic and just kind of eerie this record sounds, which he is easily able to dive in that bag because he's done it before. Like the next record, SWAT Team, is a real dark record that reminds me of the old A$AP Rocky days with those bells chanting, and then when that bass finally does hit, boy, it'll blow your damn speakers out. Love that song. And then the last record on here is Fish and Steak featuring Tyler Creator, and again, love this record because it sounds like the genesis of both of them. Like this beat sounds like an Odd Future beat, and I didn't look at the credits. I don't know if Tyler Creator produced it, but man, I love that horn note, and then you have the bass under it, kind of like what Odd Future used to do. Like it's very reminiscent of Yonkers, the way this beat sounds. And of course, A$AP and Tyler coming together to deliver some nice verses that, again, take you back to that time of when they both hit the scene. And man, again, just an excellent record to tie up the whole album with. So overall, I love this album, and this definitely will be in the top 10 of my year just from the creative standpoint alone. And A$AP Rocky, this was well worth the wait, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. So the album is very thematic with its expression, and it feels cinematic. Even the music videos have that feeling of it. So let me know in the comments, what did you think about this Rocky album, Don't Be Dumb? My favorite joints are Robbery and Helicopter. Let me know what yours are, and if you like this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, and if you already are subscribed, thank you, and until next time, peace.
RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.